Hi, and welcome to Mindy Illustrates. I'm here with June, and I'm just doing an illustrator artist interview, and I'm so glad to have her here because we were kind of like coffee buddies in school.
Yeah.
And she has been a digital artist and very good at working digitally, and also with pen in hand and with paper. I think your stuff is really good in that way too. Yeah, and she's made some really great stuff in her past. And right now she's doing an internship with a really big company in Spain. She lives in Spain. And would you like to just tell us a little bit about what you're doing and actually, before you tell us about what you're doing right now, just a little bit about your background and what's your background of how did you get excited about being an editorial illustrator or a digital artist?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I think it all started when I was born, obviously. I've always loved drawing and painting, and I think I've always been going to classes. But when I was 16, I decided I wanted to become a comicer and do comics, and illustrations. So I started to get deep down into it. And after that, I made fine arts. I finished fine arts, and then I moved to Berlin because I wanted to specialize on illustration and editorial design. So after 1.5 years, I moved back to Spain, and I continued doing that. But there was this sort of gap, like a year or so, when I tried to work as a designer, also be hired from basically any studio, and it was impossible. So I just focused on illustration for that year. It was a great year of improvement, of course. And then I applied for a master's degree in editorial design. And now I'm here working, doing different projects, but mainly magazines about creativity.
Oh, and what's the company? Might I ask what the company is that you're doing an internship for?
Sure, it's called Grafica magazine.
Okay.
So I guess people from South America or Spain, they will know.
Exciting. Yeah.
It's quite famous, quite a big magazine.
It rings a bell. Wow.
So yeah.
That's awesome. And I remember you did an editorial, or it was like an independent illustrated book of poetry with different women. I mean, it's a little bit off the subject, but I was thinking how cool that project was.
Yeah, during that year I mentioned before, I published a book, of course, as you just said, together with 4 authors, 4 writers, and it's a narrative.
All of them women, right?
Yeah, all of them. We're all women. And I just illustrated every story. And the special thing about that book is that every writer wanted to have a certain illustration style. So all of them, all 4 are different. They just stick to the color palette. That's all.
Love those color palettes. Makes the job easier.
Yeah, definitely.
But isn't that difficult to like do different styles, but like at the same time have them look coherent or similar?
Well, I think it really depends on the person because, well, this is a story of my life that some people they develop one style and they stick to it and work over and over again over it throughout the years. But that's not really my thing. I've always felt sort of an outsider in these terms because I've never really developed a certain style. So I usually get more fun when I do different. So it was really fun for me, and of course it was difficult. But I think it would have been more difficult if I just had to stick to one.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah,
It's the other way around for me.
yeah, that's a big subject, like style.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every
And I
person.
can never make up my mind about it. I'm like, I think it's important, but then people say it's not important, but
I don't know. I've always been, especially during fine arts, I've been sometimes harassed about that by teachers because they were like, "Yeah, you need to stick to only one style, find your voice," and I was like, "What if my voice was having different voices? What about that?" I mean, it's something that people don't really think about it. It's like, no, you need to do just one thing and stick to that. But when I was in Berlin after finishing the degree, um, I made a summer course, and we had, do you know Kyle Webster, the illustrator? Well, he was one of our teachers.
what's his name again?
Kyle Webster, Kyle T.
Okay.
Webster.
Yeah.
So yeah, he makes brushes for Adobe now.
Okay.
He's become quite famous. So the thing is that I was a big fan of him by that time, and I asked him directly during one class what it's like to have a lot of different styles because he's made really different things throughout his career, and it was quite like an epiphany, the answer he said, because basically what he said was that you just have to show the best of yourself, the best quality of your work, no matter what it is. And you always have a target. I mean, there are some people that really like those kind of artists who stick to one style, but also there are a lot of people who get bored by that. So they're going to shoot the other type. So basically that's market for everyone. So that
Cool.
was very inspiring.
Yeah. Wow, that is. It is to hear from someone so established and
Yeah.
hear them say that, and it's encouraging for us that don't have like that amazing style that, yeah. I have noticed with your stuff that you tend to have a style, like the way you draw people, and yeah, like just things are similar. So don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
yeah, I think it's also an influence from editorial design when you need to develop a concept, but also having some clues that you need to repeat throughout
Yeah,
the whole thing. So I try to
depending
do
on the
that.
project.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I try to do that also in illustration, like keeping the eye shape or the way I draw noses and so on.
It's interesting, like your career and that you're heading towards editorial. Is that really your passion and like what you want to do in in life, or would you
Um,
rather be doing children's books or like, I don't know, tattoos or something?
I think
But
whatever comes. I mean, okay, right now it's really okay, and I love it because, um, yeah, for example, last year I was more into illustration, and now I don't really have the time to do it. I try to find it, but also life happens. So
Right.
now with this new job, it's also very exciting. And yeah, I've always loved design as well. I mean, it was the field I was most specialized during fine arts also. So I think it just came right now, and maybe next year, because I'm also starting to make some research over photography. Maybe next year I'll
Oh,
switch into be a photographer. I don't know.
yeah.
Whatever comes.
Cool. And is there like a routine, or is there something special you do to like get inspired, or do you have like a muse or something that like helps you get into the creative mode, or?
Um, I don't really have one, but it's true that I've got some music bands that help trigger that inspiring feeling of, oh yeah, I'd like to do this.
Yeah.
But out of that, I think just my mind never stops. Even when I'm sleeping, most of my ideas is where they come up. So I don't really know. Everything happens when I sleep. I
Oh,
just then I wake up. I come back from work and I start sketching or doing some quick digital sketching, but
you're a good
mostly on
artist.
paper.
That's very good of you to sketch all the time.
Yeah, I wish I have more time to do it, but
I know.
I try to. I try.
Don't you just hate that when you're just laying in bed and you like think of the best ideas at
Yeah,
like 2 in the morning, or like, why didn't this happen during the day?
yeah, that happens a lot, definitely. Or you're doing something completely different. Suddenly, a great idea comes up, and it's like, oh no, I'm doing this. I can't change. No, not now. I don't spend the whole time drawing or designing or whatever, of course, but it's definitely easier if you have a passion and that moves you, definitely. Or I don't know, you maybe just you're moved by, like now how I'm feeling these days is that I'm being moved by finding another style to make new illustrations. That's why I'm also quite offline lately. And it takes a lot of time, but it's also very refreshing when you find something that you haven't really experienced before. Like, I've done this line work and it's really beautiful. So I'm just going through it over and over again. and I think that's a lot of with the creative movement. I think it moves a lot.
And what do you think about this idea, this concept, um, make it till you make it? Or the opposing, fake it till you make it? Think about that,
Uh,
and yeah,
I
like as an
think,
artist, an illustrator, or editorial, or
well, I must say that it's the basic thing to do. I mean, currently we are working in some different projects, and basically we're going to be like 3 months copying everything, every single example that we find interesting, and just copy it and trying
oh,
to like decode what
yeah,
makes that interesting. So I think it's a really important part of the creative process, but also
interesting. Yeah,
you need to know that those are just sketches, and of course you can't upload anything unless you you mentioned the artist, but I think it's very important. It's basic thing to do to start.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I myself know people that say make it till you make it. Because it's
Well,
but
it's
then again, it's like everything is based on copying after
that's it.
all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you first need to copy it in order to understand certain things that made that person. And when you do it, then you can like break the rules and make your own and like make a reinterpretation of your copying of what you're copying. So it's basic. I mean, I think everything is invented. So we just reinventing things over and over again. It's like fashion, for example. It's always the same, but slightly different from the past. And of course, in the future, it's going to be the same, but at the same time, also different. So that makes it interesting, and also it's like it sets you in a certain time of history, so you can look the trends and so on.
yeah,
So yeah.
I like what you said about, you said break the rules.
Yeah, but you need to
And
know them first.
exactly, yeah. You know the rules, but then you break them.
Yeah, that's it.
And I like that, yeah, because you got to break the rules in order to make your own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, learn from the best and then make it your own.
Yeah, basically. I'm not against copying. I'm against copying and publish it as if it was your own. But I'm not against copying.
Well, I've got one more question for you.
Okay.
I asked all the people that I interviewed for this week, and the same question, because I find it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you see yourself in 5 years?
Whoa. That's a very tough cookie. I hope living from anything creative. Like now, maybe it's editorial. Maybe I'm no longer living in Spain. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I'm working in my own studio. I don't really know. I mean, I've also thought about it several times, and I'm like, I don't really know, and I'm just enjoying. So yeah, I don't know. That's the summary.
That's a good answer. There is no wrong answer for this question.
No, not really.
No, just depending on you and your passion. So, and that's good to not know, because you just kind of let the chips fall where they may, and it's not always good to try to control your future. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you did say you might be in a studio somewhere,
I
and
don't know. I mean, I've got projects, but right now it's impossible to know. And I also enjoy everything being so unexpected.
yeah, as artists usually do. I could probably move where I live like every 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I also thought about it. Like maybe I mean, this is the third year I'm in Spain after coming back from Berlin, and no, it's going to be the third next year. And I was surprised because I thought, okay, I'm coming back, and I mean, things here regarding work, it's a really difficult situation, but now, of course, everywhere. But I never thought I'd be here longer than 2 years, so it's a surprise for me. And I'm very happy. I've just fell in love with Valencia and Argentina, whatever comes.
Well, June, thanks so much for coming to be on my YouTube, on my newly born YouTube channel. Yeah, and it was really good to see you. And so thanks for being here, and whoever's out there watching this YouTube channel, I'll put the link below to June's Instagram and her other pages. And I hope that you enjoyed this talk with her. And yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them in the link below. Bye.
Thank you.
Don't forget to go over to June's Instagram and follow her and like what she's doing. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube. Bye. Have a good day.